Welcome to God's Plain Glam channel. Here you'll learn hair, nails, makeup, and you'll definitely receive God's word. In happy moments, I want you to know that you praise God. In difficult moments, seek God. Quiet moments, you worship God. Painful moments, trust God. And every moment, you thank God. Hello, everyone. Today's video is going to be a continuation video from the last video, which is from my Amputate nail training fingers. Now, the last video I did, I actually showed you all how the Amputate nail training fingers performed when using my reusable method using my Stick Me nail adhesive tabs. Now, these tabs, like I said, are to be applied, and you can watch that in the other video. But this specific video, this is the same finger that I used in the last video, and I'm going to reuse this one again, but this is an extra one that I have. I'm going to reuse the same thing that I've already prepared, and I'm going to go back over, how to prepare this finger for each application. So, I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to go in with my nail e-file, and I'm just going to clean up and buff that nail, just to remove any shine or any oils that I might have put on it, when picking it up for this demonstration. So, just gonna go in and do that. Once that's done, you're gonna remove the dust, and you can actually use your a dusting brush if you have one, or if not, you can just blow it off. So, in order to use this training finger with my Stick Me nail adhesive, I'm going to go in with another tip. And for the last set, we used a size 0. And of course, we're going to use the same size for that. So if you have any numbered tips, then for these nail training fingers, some are a little smaller than others. Some are a little larger than others. So it really depends on what finger you get, what size you'll get, but they are all large nail beds, larger than most training fingers. And like I said in the last video, I was showing them, this is a nail training hand that I ordered, and in comparison to these fingers, you can see the difference in how large the nail beds are. Same thing with this one. So I'm just going to show you in comparison how those look versus those fingers. And these, I really love this nail training hand. I have not used it yet, and I'm actually going to demonstrate a set on it using my acrylics, a full set. And I'm just showing you how those fingers look. Very small nail beds, and the same with the thumb, very small. So like I said, that's the whole purpose of me, bringing these Amputate nail training fingers to the table, because I want to give you all something that you could work with a lot better. So because this is a nail training finger, I was explaining in the last video that these can be used, several different ways. Of course, the way that I'm describing in this video is my non-reusable method. And basically, if you wanted to do this method and keep reusing this same nail, you could pretty much put a clear polish on it, a clear coating of acrylic on it, and you can just paint it and just design that nail over and over and over like that. You could do it that way, but that's the only way that you can reuse this nail. You can apply the acrylic using the tabs like I showed you and reuse it that way. But if you wanted to create a lot of designs and just make tips like this, of course, watch the last video that I made and you just pop them off. But I'm going to get into the video of this one. This is the size 0, and like I said, I went on ahead and buffed that nail out with the e-file. And you can use this on a nail training hand if you have one, because it will fit securely on the one that I have. So you can put it on there and work with the finger that way, or you can use it on your own hand like I was doing in the last video. So I like to use my middle finger to do these. I really don't use this finger, but if you wanted to buy these off my website, you can purchase these. They come in 2 pieces, and you can just put them all 5 on your fingers, and you can do a set like you normally would on your fingers. or you can just work with that one finger like I'm getting ready to do. So I applied it on my middle finger, and I'm going to take my ring finger and my pointer finger, and I'm just going to use that to add some support under there with my ring finger, and I'm using my pointer and my thumb to actually hold it down tight. So this is how you would actually use the fingers in either application. So I'm going to go ahead and add the glue, which is my Stick Me nail adhesive. And this glue dries very, very fast. So once you use this glue, hold it for a few seconds, it's on there. It's on there. And of course, because there's no body heat or anything from these training fingers, it will take a little longer to actually set fully. But it's on there. It's not going anywhere. So this method, like I said, is my method to use when you do not plan on reusing this finger. You just want to practice. But like I said, you will go a long way with practicing with this finger if you use the reusable method. Now, like I said, this glue, this nail training finger, the brush that I'm using, and the acrylics that I'll be using today in this video can all be found on my website. And this will be the number 12 brush that I'm using. Now, my brushes come in various colors and 2 sizes, but when you actually order a size 12 or 14, you will get a random colored brush from one of the colors that you see that's posted on my website. I really don't send them out with requested colors. Now, if you do have a desired color, what you can do is send an email to the company's email once you place an order, and you can actually let me know that you would like a certain color. You can do it that way. But make sure you send that email before you place that order, and that email is drippretty2019@gmail.com. So it's drippretty2019@gmail.com. This is one of my cards. It's a one-stop acrylic shop, nails and more. This is where you can schedule appointments. This is my actual website where you can shop for anything pertaining to nails. This is my social medias that I have for my company, which is Drip Pretty on Instagram, and my YouTube channel is Samaria975. And this is my company's name and logo, Drip Pretty Acrylics. And here's the email address to my company, like I said, if you have a special request for colors for the brushes. Now, so for this particular set, I'm going to be using 2 other colors of my acrylic line, which is, okay, I'm sorry about that. Now, the 2 acrylics I'm going to be using from this, for this particular set, I'm sorry, I don't know what's wrong with my speech today. I'm going to be using Pacemaker, which is my pink. Very beautiful pink. And I'm going to be using Cat Scan. Now, my line, for you, those of you who want to know, I haven't actually gone into a detailed video about how my company came along, but I wanted something different. And my nail acrylic company, I wanted it to be medical themed. So everything that I have pertaining to my website or to my acrylic line is actually inspired from the medical theme. So all of my acrylics are named after actual things that you'll see in hospitals, doctor offices, things of that nature. So like I said, this acrylic is, the yellow acrylic is my Cat Scan, and the pink is my Pacemaker. So yeah, just a little FYI on that. So I'm going into my nail liquid. Like I said, we've already adhered with the glue. And we're going to go in with Pacemaker first. No, we're going to go in with, we're going to go in with Pacemaker. And I'm going to create an ombre using, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do a marbled nail. So we're going to do some nail marbling. So I'm just grabbing a pretty wet bead. And we're just going to marble with these two colors. Just going to go back and forth and put some color down and kind of mix them around. So in the marbling process, you could do marbling several different ways. This is how I'm actually doing the demonstration for this video. And then in a minute, you'll see how I go in and I'll ombre the bottom part into it and, you know, give it a different little feel. So this is how I'm just adding a design, marbling design into it. And as you can see how that's coming along. Like I said, you want to make sure, just as if you were working on the client, you want to stay away from that cuticle area. You want to make sure it's not touching the skin. And I'm going to bring that into there. And I'm going to add some yellow on this side. And that's pretty much for the marbling effect. Like I said, remember not to touch your cuticle. And if you do, just remove it very quickly from that client skin or whatever you're working with. Just remove it from the skin. So I'm going to go in and... Yep. And that's the marbling effect for what I just got finished doing. And so now I like to encapsulate all of my designs, all of my marbling, all of that. I like to encapsulate that. So I'm going to be using my liquid bandage. Like I said, everything is named from the medical field. So this is my clear fast set acrylic called liquid bandage, and that's in my ODOC collection. So yeah, you definitely, guys, you need to check that out. And like I said, this marbling technique, we're going to encapsulate that with that clear acrylic. Just like that. Staying away from that cuticle area. When you're dealing with long nails, you want to make sure you're definitely building that apex of that nail up. Definitely an important part of lasting nails. Definitely want to have a good structure. So you want to make sure you're definitely building that up. So right here, I'm just building up that apex. And as you can see, that's how I like for my apex. And you want to start building your apex up furthest to your cuticle area versus to your tip. So you shouldn't see any thickness or anything here towards your free edge. All of your thickness and your apex, which is how you build that nail up, should be from midsection to cuticle area. So yeah, that's the actual design for that. And like I said, this is the permanent way of using this training finger. Like I said, I decided to, you know, just go in, and I'll end up using this finger, using this finger over and over and over again. Of course, I can just take this and polish over it with a polish and create different designs for you all using this. Or I could, you know, go in and file that color off again and use some other color acrylic. So this is reusable in that way, but this nail cannot come off, you know, once it is on. It's on there to stay. So yeah, I wanted to show you all that one. And this was the other nail that I created in the last video, which was the temporary way how you get to remove it with my Stick Me adhesive tabs. But yeah, y'all, this is that nail, and I'm going to let that set, and then we'll come back and we'll use my Revive non-wipe top coat. We'll use my oven to cure it, and then we'll show you the final results of that nail. Okay, so this nail has definitely set, and to test it, if you hear that clicking sound, it is ready. But I'm gonna let this set a little bit more because it's not as hard as I would like it to set. So we're gonna let that set for a few more moments. But in the meantime, I'm going to go in after this sets for a few more moments and clean it up with the e-file. Now you have two ways of doing that. You can use e-file and hand file. Now in the previous video when I did the Stick Me nail adhesive tabs, this is the removable method for my Amputate nail training fingers. We actually went in with the e-file because it was much more gentler on the nails versus all that extra shaking and moving with the extra file. So because this is done with our Stick Me adhesive glue, which is not going anywhere, we're going to actually go in and hand file and shape and do this just so I can give you a little bit of how both, you know, methods are done. Now, like I was saying in the last video, once you're finished with any acrylics that you have, whether it's my acrylics from Drip Pretty or whatever acrylics you're using, you want to make sure you're capping those back up tightly, because I've had so many accidents where I've knocked them off my nail stations or I've knocked them completely over and those acrylics couldn't be salvaged anymore. So yeah, I wasted some money a few times and it was a lesson learned. So just a little FYI, make sure you're closing up any containers that you're using, you know, before you proceed with anything else, because you don't want it to end up, you know, messing up, you know, your counter space or either wasting your product. So right now I'm just going in and cleaning the bristles of my brush. I had it soaking in the brush cleaner, and this is just some brush cleaner that I purchased from Nails, one of my favorite brush cleaners, and it's very good on removing acrylic and stuff from the nails. When you're applying acrylic to any nail, whether it's when you're practicing or you're doing a client, you want to make sure you're keeping that brush clean in between dipping between your monomer and your brush cleaner. Your monomer and your acrylics, because you can get buildup in your brush just like you see me doing here. But like I said, it's a simple remove. As long as you don't prolong it and let it go too far, you know, you can save your brush. But if you take your brush and you're not cleaning in between times that you're dipping into that monomer and that acrylic, then you can damage your brush. So you want to make sure you're taking care of those brushes very well. So now that that brush is completely cleaned, I'm going to take the nail. Now you can hear the difference in the nail that it has set a lot more. So we're going to take that nail file again. I'm going to be using my middle finger. This is the finger that I like to use to hold these fingers. So I'm using my thumb and my pointer finger and my ring finger to actually hold it steady. So one of my favorite things to teach is shaping for stilettos. Like, stilettos are my absolute favorite nail to do. I stiletto everything. I just love stilettos. You couldn't tell me that years ago when I used to go to the nail salons to get my nails done. I was only a square girl. I only liked the square. And now I cannot stand square nails on my hands. I have to have stilettos, whether it's short stilettos, medium length, or long stilettos. I have to have stilettos. So my favorite way to shape stilettos, One way I explain in several of my videos and tutorials is I tell you how to actually go in shaping and filing that nail to keep that line crisp and smooth. Now, it's nothing wrong with it because I do it every now and again, and it's just a few times. I don't like to file the nail this direction because what happens is it depends on the shape of your file and how you place your hands. You can end up rounding, you know, that nail on the side walls, and I don't like my side walls on my stiletto nails to be rounded, so I always go up and down. If you follow this up and down method, you'll get a crisp straight line every single time on every nail set that you do, whether it's practicing or whether it's on a client. So if you can see the difference between those sides, if you can see how crisp that line is, that's what you'll get every time when you're using this method when filing. You're going straight up and down. I like to go straight up and down because it gives me that crisp, straight shape that you should have when wearing stilettos. So you want to make sure you're just up and down, up and down. Same thing with your tips. Make sure you're going up and down. Up and down. So now if you can see that, up and down. Now I like to go in and, you know, file and make sure everything is looking pretty good. And I like to look at my nails in that view, that angle. That way you can tell if your nails are leveled evenly. So I'm going in and I'm just smoothing everything out with this file. And y'all, these Beauty Secrets are actually my favorite type of files to use. Like, I love the 180 grit, and that's what this is. They are washable and sanitizable. And yeah, they have the straight ones and they have the curved ones. I use either one, you know, whichever is pretty much available in the store. So yeah, up and down is the key. Up and down is the key. And as you do that, you will definitely see that crisp line form for that nail. So like I said, you want to make sure you are watching your angles when filing. You want to make sure you can see that apex. Make sure that apex is built, you know, pretty strongly. You want to go in and clean up that cuticle area. Make sure you don't have any product on that skin. Like I said, the angles. Your angles matter. So, you want to make sure those angles are leveled. And once those angles are leveled, then you can actually dust off and go ahead and top coat. Okay, so now that nail is definitely filed and shaped evenly. So I'm going to go in now with the buffers that are available on my website. These are my mini buffers. And I just want to make sure everything is smooth and ready for application of my Revive non-white top coat. So what I like to do once I have, and I do this on my clients as well, what I like to do is I take my Mint Me Control Spray, which is an antiseptic spray. It can also be used for the skin and the face as well. And I'm going to just take it and spray it to remove any dust off of that, because you don't want any dust on that nail when you're applying that top coat. And then we're going to go in with my Revive top coat, non-white top coat. And we're going to add it just like this. Apply that, and we're going to cure that for 1 minute in the light. It depends on I guess, the length of the nail and how thick or thin I put it. But you want to make sure you're using this very thinly on the nail. And why you saw me put that amount on it when I did was because this is a long nail, so I knew I had to spread it. I had needed a good amount to spread it. But you want a thin amount, and you want to make sure you are top coating it like that. So we're going to let this cure for 1 minute, and we'll be right back. Okay, this nail has completely cured, and I want to go in and share a little bit about my brush really quick before I go on about the nail. These nail brushes that I have, they're offered on my website, and they are detachable. So this is the actual size of the brush without the cap for it, and this is how you would store your brushes. So yeah, that's that brush. Now, sorry about that. Back with the nails. This is the final result of that nail. So I showed you a marbling technique that I like to use, and these are two of my acrylics. This is the pink, which is the pacemaker, and yellow, which is cat scan. And I use my liquid bandage, which is my facet clear, to encapsulate it. And I use my Revive top coat, which is very, very, very shiny. Very, very, very shiny. Yep, so I hope y'all enjoyed this tutorial on how to use this Amputate nail training finger. Please watch my other videos on my YouTube, which is YouTube Samaria975, and my Instagram, which is drip_pretty. And this is, yeah, my line of products. You can find everything that I use in this video at www.drippretty.bigcartel.com. I'll see you guys in my next video.